So this is Palworld. You start off washed up on a desert island. You seem to have no recollection of what happened to you. And it says the towers are the key. The tree holds the truth. So okay, the game starts off mysterious. Don't really know the story or lore yet. We're ending fresh at the time of this recording. So then you start off at this little cave temple like place. You're half naked. Crazy. You've got a pouch on your back. You've got like a piece of cloth covering your private parts and your cheeks, your butt cheeks, right? And there we go, that's our first teleportation tower. What do you call it? Is it teleportation tower? It's for fast travel, whatever it's called. You see some woman, she's chilling, look like she's cooking her supper. So why not speak to her and find out what's going on? A castaway, been a while since anyone. And it was someone who didn't think of powers washed up here. This island's a living hell. The people I came with aren't with us any longer. Those down pals ate all the... Oh, I'm doing it too fast. But anyway, you can stop to read it if you want. So, okay. First impressions, right? A couple seconds in. Oh, no, we're over like a minute in. A minute of talking. It's cool. Open world, you know, Breath of the Wild vibes. Ark Survival. I haven't played Ark Survival. But, yeah. Those kind of games, open world games, you know, that's semi-realistic. And that sort of thing. And this is the game that Nintendo has been after. Nintendo is not happy about Palworld. Why? Because Palworld has their own version of Pokemon. They call them Pals. You can capture them. Okay. There's a big difference, right? You can see on screen. I don't think in any Pokemon game can you as a character attack a Pokemon, especially punch them, inflict damage like that on them, right? I don't think Game Freak, I think that's the company that makes Pokemon, realistically, I don't think they would ever add anything like that into Pokemon, right? So it's, you know, it's a cross between Survival, Breath of the Wild, you can see Ark Survival and Pokemon. Right, you see I got clapped there. And they've taken away a few things in this game, right? For the first 2 episodes, near the end of the second episode, which I'm currently editing, you might not notice the change, but in this, at the very start, when I first started playing this game, right, you can throw your pal to where you want him to go, right? So you could throw your pal in the distance, like you can throw it 10 meters in front of you, 15 meters in front of you. And there's advantages of doing that, which you'll see later on in possibly in this clip, or at least episode 2 of this continuation of, you know, Palworld series that I'm making, where you can be chilling, you can be on a hilltop or something, or you can be, hilltop, hiding behind something, and you throw the pal directly in front of your enemy, which keeps you, the main character, out of danger, because once you go down, obviously it's game over. And you see very soon that I've been playing quite cowardly in this game, especially at the start. I'll hide, or partially hide, and let the pals do all the fighting, right? Now, the new updates, because apparently Nintendo, they've patented it or something. They patented the throwing animation, throwing a Pokemon ball or something like that. Is it patent or patent? think it's patent, that's the word, it's patent. Right? So now you don't get that throwing. You can't throw your power almost anywhere. You can't throw your power in the distance, basically. When you bring out your power, right? When you bring forth your power literally teleports next to you. You'll see in later episodes, right? It teleports right next to you. You can't throw in front of an enemy to force the enemy to attack your power. It teleports next to you, so in certain situations the enemy could choose to attack you first over the power, right? So that made the game a lot easier, and yeah, it gave you the opportunity to play cowardly as well, right? Another thing they've patented, whatever the word is the gliding thing, right? Because I don't know, I think one of the Pokemon games you can use it. Can you use one of the Pokemons to glide across the world or something? I'm not too sure what they've patented it. So before you can use, there's this eagle-like power. Forgot his name right now. You could use that as long as you've got that power in your party. You can use the power as a glider, and also you can use it to attack people. So when you haven't summoned the power and you jump off a ledge and then you press, let's say, X again, depending on if you're using controller or whatever keyboard. Let's say you play the jump button, you press the jump button twice while you're in mid-air or falling. You can glide using that eagle power. As long as that power is not out of its sphere, right? Its Pokemon ball, let's say. You can use it to glide. Once the power is out, you can't use it to glide. So now you can't just basically you can no longer do that anymore. So you have to use a glider. You have to use a glider. Which is, it's little things. And another thing as well. I started the game maybe just over a year after it came out. A little late to the game, but not too late. But even a year or some months after the game coming out, bearing in mind the game is early access, so to a certain extent you can forgive these mistakes. They haven't released the game as a full-fledged game. But I did have a record. I think I might have deleted the recording, so I could have shown you guys. But especially in this world, right? So what happened was, I reached was it level 50, level 40, late level 40s to almost 50, something like that, right? At one point. I think even before reaching those levels, I tried to challenge Jet Dragon, and I managed to get some powers early, like Doggin and Astragon, I think that dragon is called. That power dragon type. It has like an armor. It has like an armor to it. It looks like a dragon wearing a knight's armor, sort of. I noticed that every time I'd close the game and come back to it, powers were disappearing. And even powers that are normally... Even powers at certain locations were disappearing, especially when it comes to the boss powers. Not necessarily the tower ones, not the tower ones, but the ones in the open world. So, I tried challenging Jet Dragon a few times in this world. Right, maybe at late level 20 or early 30s or something, and I flopped miserably. Right, you see a clip very soon, probably not in this clip, but the next one, yeah, in the following clips. I flopped miserably. So think I die. I respawn back to not the first checkpoint, not the very first checkpoint where I've started the game. So in the game you have these things called power boxes, and when you place one down, that becomes your checkpoint. That's your home. That's where you can teleport to. Especially if you have a Duggan. You can easily teleport to home. Or if you have one of those statue things with the eagle, the one you saw at the very beginning, you can use those things to teleport home. Or teleport to another eagle statue. Right, and then obviously there's benefits to doing that because some of them are very close to bosses or tower bosses, or or maybe a certain area that you want to get to, so they're very useful, right? Obviously. So I think I'm going off track a little bit. So yeah, I remember that. So I failed trying to fight Jet Dragon, respawn back home. I go back to the very location where Jet Dragon is, and tell me why I couldn't find him. I circled the area for, I'm sure, 15 minutes, 20. I'm like, maybe it's me. I'm not looking hard enough. I'm looking at the map. I'm like, oh, Jet Dragon should be in this very area. He's gone. He's somehow disappeared. Right? And I'm like, what? And each time I came back to the game, it looks like the issue wasn't going to be fixed, right? So it wasn't that. I was losing powers, particularly in my, was it the powers in my inventory, like my main inventory where I walk around with, or was it the power box? The external inventory. One of them, but I was losing powers from, I think it was my internal inventory, the one I carry around. So I'd come back to the game. I know I had an Astragon in my inventory, in my pockets. I know I had a dog in. They've suddenly disappeared. And I played game after game after game. They're not coming back, right? And I'll tell you this as well. I started off, this world that I'm playing in right now is hard mode. I chose the hardest mode, right? Again, I'm just a guy to challenge myself. So really frustrating, right? So the game is already hard, and now there's glitches and bugs that's making the game even harder. You have at some point you have to start again. You have to recatch the same power. You have to look for the same area. It gets annoying, right? So in the second episode, I believe, you will see in the second episode, I had to start over. I started a new world. I even switched to normal as well. Because even my friend was like, wow, you're starting off in hard. So I switched to normal, and I'm like, maybe as well, hopefully starting a new world, I won't see any of those glitches, powers disappearing. And I think there was other things happening. I think those powers that were stuck in walls, I think I keep getting stuck in walls as well, somehow. It was happening a lot in the very first world that I made, which is this one you see on screen right here. So I ended up making a new world, and the aim, what it was with the new world as well, it was more of a, well, not just for me but my friends, but I started playing the game much more than them. So you see them in early clips, in following clips, you'll see them. It was more for us to play together, and then obviously you could even complete the game. It'd be easier to complete the game quicker, right? Because I knew from the beginning the game was quite grindy. I didn't actually realize how grindy the game was until, well, the game is pretty grindy. Like, like to, you know, to beat Jet Dragon, right? To beat Jet Dragon, and we've got Moonlord, right? At the time of this recording, Moonlord is a option as well. I don't know if he's more powerful than Jet Dragon, but let's just put Moonlord aside. Let's just say Jet Dragon is like the strongest power to defeat in the game, right? Which everyone, obviously, that would be the aim for everyone. This game is way grindy. Like, 'cause even with Minecraft, right? There's shortcuts. There's some shortcuts where you can literally beat the game and beat the Ender Dragon within an hour or two. There's some people that are skilled enough that can do that, right? It's very possible. As long as you're familiar, if you play the game quite a few times and you're familiar with what you're doing and stuff, you can beat Minecraft within the same day. This game, forget it. You're gonna have to sink hours to be strong enough to defeat Jet Dragon. That's it, hours. Like, I mean, hours. Like, you're gonna sink more hours than you would in your typical AAA game. Yeah. But anyway, I think Palworld is a unique game in itself. Because look, you've got Digimon. I think some people talk about Dragon Quest or whatever. You know, you've got other games where you have these animal-like creatures which you can capture and fight for you and stuff. And there's way more. I remember like Facebook games, like, you know, I remember this thing called Monster Legends. Anyway, you know, so Nintendo can't really use that arguments when it comes to, you know, the powers, the whole gliding and everything. I think everyone thinks it's a bit outrageous. But yeah, I agree. And then, as you can see, pretty much in this clip, I'm just mining, gathering stuff, just doing what I need to do. Let's talk about the darker side of Palworld. The darker side of Palworld, right? The more dark and twisted.
I actually thought you defeated her.
Side of Palworld. So, here's what's going on here. So, I think I might have mentioned this in the beginning. You know, I've spoken about the tower bosses, right? There's tower bosses in this game, right? So right now you can see this is the very first tower boss that we're fighting. Now in Pokemon, right? You defeat the Pokemon. You defeat the gym leader by defeating the Pal. Right? That's all. You knock out the Pal. There's as far as I know, in Pokemon's, they don't put scenes where Pokemon actually die or anything like that. Anything that's of that nature, right? Now here, this is the big difference now. So, okay. So let's call this a gym leader, right? Tower boss, gym leader, whatever you want to call it. The title is literally above the title is literally on the screen, above the names. Was it Rain Syndicate Officer? Okay. Now you're fighting both of them. Now the weakest link, they're fighting as one, as you can see, right? The girl's on top of this big lightning type Pokemon / power, right? Now she's like the weaker part of them. Like let's think of Zoe and Grisbo, that's their name, as one boss. If you hit Zoe, let's say Zoe is the critical part of Grisbolt's armor or body. If you hit her, the human, if you hit the human, you do more damage. You do more critical damage when you hit her, right? So now you're actually attacking a human. The thing is, certain things I'm going to be speaking about, I didn't really deep it too much. And this is not even going to be the worst thing, right? I didn't really deep these things too much, and then I thought about it and I was like, okay, you have to attack the human. When you actually defeat a tower boss, if you manage to defeat a tower boss, you basically eliminated, because they both tumble over and they're basically dead, right? They're portrayed to be as dead, right? So, just to clarify, to defeat a tower boss, you have to eliminate him, basically. Both the POW and the human. Because when you defeat one, you defeat the other, right? So, even in the world, right, there's people that you're gonna come across POW tamers, I think they're called, that they're gonna challenge you. They're gonna say, oh, let's fight. Now if you fight them and beat them, you essentially eliminate him, right? Because their body just drops down and then their POW drops down or whatever, and then right? And I guess this is a more PG friendly game compared to other games, right? But that's not all. Despite having to technically take down, let's say eliminate people, right? Eliminate people. There's you guys will come across, you guys will see this in a later video. Well, actually no, I didn't record this bit, but let me just touch on it. So in this game, it doesn't only allow you to capture POWs, you can capture humans. So you can use humans to fight for you and to build bases and stuff. So in this game, it's like you're kind of enslaving these POW Pokemon creatures. So once you capture them and you put them naked tasks, I guess you're not really enslaving them. They work, they take breaks and stuff. But sometimes if you don't put down beds and food and a nice like hot tub for them to rest, to bathe in and stuff, they get upset, agitated, and the game literally tells you, let's say Grisbolt is upset because of poor working conditions, because you haven't fed him properly, you haven't looked after, so you have to look after them, right? So in a sense that's good. You have to take care of these creatures, these animals, just like in real life. You have to take care of them, so you can look at that as a good side. Same with humans, right? Same with the humans. You have to they need feeding and stuff. Okay, the only human I captured was this guy called Dr. Brown or something. So the reason why I even captured him, because I didn't really want to get into that capturing humans and using them to do stuff, right? But he has basically he's a surgeon, and he can pull off a surgery on your POW. If the surgery is successful, you can literally buff your POW. If it's not successful, your POW can literally, you can debuff your POW, make them weaker basically. So it's a more of a 50-50 risk, right? But it's quite a decent gamble. right? That could, like, having that function that can speed up your progress. That can make a power that's already stronger. But if you're going to use something like that, you might as well, if you've got, let's say you have 2 Doggins and both of them have decent stats, I wouldn't use the Doggin that has the very best stats. I wouldn't put him under the surgery, just in case the surgery goes wrong and you end up debuffing him and he becomes much weaker than when you first found him or hatched him. However way you obtain that Doggin, right? And just like Powers, obviously to capture Dr. Brown, I had to lower his health by inflicting damage onto him till he was low enough. And by doing that, I think at one point, because this game has like on this island, they literally have like an army, like a military army force on this island. So if you attack someone, even like a trader, for example, I'm pretty sure if you attack a trader as well, the authorities will be alerted and they'll chase after you, right? Okay, and then here's another more twisted side to the game, right? Because I think a guy even made a joke saying, "Oh, this is like the devil's game."
I'm saying good luck
because of this particular part. So in this game, I think other games have this mechanic. It depends how you look at it, right? It depends how you see things, but you can, let's say if you capture a Doggin, let's just stick with a Doggin to make let's just stick with 1 POW just to simplify things, so it's easy for you guys to follow.
Yeah, quick slash.
Now, what you can do is keep capturing and breeding POWs and then condensing them into your strongest POW. So when I say condense them, you're basically sacrificing them. So you can sacrifice like 50 POWs, 50 Doggins. You get their souls. You get when you. Sorry, I'm talking about something else. Oh, the soul part, that's something different. But you condense them, you sacrifice them, and then each time let's say if you the first time you have to sacrifice maybe like 12 POWs.
You're shooting as well. I think at one point.
It's 12 Doggins for your Doggin to reach rank 1. Then next it might be like 24 Doggins. You have to sacrifice 24 Doggins, or condense them, should I say?
Sort of follows
and then you hit rank 2.
Oh my god.
So that's how the game kind of works. And then the whole soul thing, right, is when you eliminate POWs, they drop their souls or something, and then you can use those souls. You can infuse those souls into other POWs and make them stronger, right? Sounded kind of twisted. So that's why I mentioned. That's why I spoke about that guy making a joke saying it's the devil's game, right? So there's a darker theme to it. And some of the POWs look really weird and freaky. But I can tell that the game has taken some aspects from folklore, from certain like folklore or pagan religions, and there's some aspects of it, right?
Maybe not say that too.
So then I'm thinking to myself, right? The game's a little bit twisted. I'm enjoying some aspects of the game, but then the game is there's some other parts of the game that's quite dark and twisted.
Speaking, Scott, here's the voice line.
Right? That's a bit twisted.
Who?
And then that's why that scripture, that's why there's a scripture that speaks about people like in darkness more than light.
I'll put a picture in random something.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah, it's pretty.
in a sense, I have to put myself in that category, right?
Yeah, it's pretty.
Because if I'm being honest with you, when it comes to like video games and stuff, right? I want the games that I want to put on this channel, I want them to be more neutral, or I'm not going to play any like horror games or games where you have to like decapitate, you have to you get the idea, right? I want to keep the game more PG and more censored, especially that I'm putting my faith, I'm speaking about my faith, I'm making my faith, I'm trying to reach, I'm trying to reach people in a sense and talk about my faith and get people talking about God and, the Bible and just faith in general, right? So, because even I watch videos where someone's playing Minecraft or playing some other game and they're talking about their faith, or because I think even I've seen these videos on YouTube or whatever, where people on Roblox, they have this world where they have a church, they do same thing with Minecraft. So that's what I'm trying to do, right? So that's why I have to kind of think about these things more, because with like for example with Minecraft as well, or even like Minecraft, you can play Minecraft in a very PG manner, right? Minecraft is fairly PG, and then there's parts where it's not very PG, maybe it's a little bit nuts, right? If you're talking about the monsters and fighting these big spiders and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of kids play Minecraft, so that's just where my head's at when it comes to these things, right?
But free wins.
Because for some people, you might be looking at me and thinking, bro, it's not a big deal, but it is a big deal for me.
But there were free wins, a road of the reaper.
Yeah. Anyway, so
I'm buying them still, don't get me wrong.
Would I recommend Palworld? Would I say Palworld is kid friendly? No. If you're like a teenager and above and you play Palworld, I don't think it's gonna do anything. You're not gonna necessarily get. I don't think you're gonna get nightmares or anything, right? But there's certain elements of the game that's a little bit more on the PG side. I mean, like the R-rated, I'm saying PG, the R-rated side, right? So, but at the same time, while I was playing the game, I wasn't really thinking about those things because, right? Or maybe I kind of shoved those things at the back of my mind, and at the same time, I want to put the game out there, right? Because I've played the game a lot, I've recorded a lot of hours. There's been times where I've just left the PC on because, like I said at the beginning, it's super grindy. Once you close the game, everything is paused. So, because there's other games like that where you kind of have to just leave it on at times and just let your character do its own thing, or let the game do its own thing. But so it's just very grindy as well. So if I'm talking about negatives about the game, what's that? I'll say it's very grindy, the bugs and glitches, and what else could I talk about? I can talk about the darker tone to it, like the darker element to it, but that's I get, you know, a lot of people might not care about that side, right? But if I'm just talking about this, if I'm separating my faith and my feelings towards those kind of things, like the more, like let's just be honest, like the more demonic element to it or whatever, then yeah, it's a fun game. You can spend loads of hours in it. You can capture all, especially if you're a Pokemon fan. I'm sure you love this game, right? Me, I think the negatives for me outweigh the positives. But like I said, I just want to put my ideas and my opinions out there of the game, right? So, but you know, I leave it up to you guys. What do you think of the game, right? What do you guys think? You know, yeah, and then what do you guys think about what I'm saying? Do you think I'm stretching it a little bit about some of the things I've mentioned? No, it's not that deep. I'd like to hear your comments. I would love to hear your comments. But yeah, so I am gonna show you guys. My intention is to show you guys the start to finish. So from me starting the game to me trying to defeat Xenolord. But yeah. But will I go back to Palworld? That leaves to be, you know. Will I go back to Palworld? Possibly, if I do decide to go back to Palworld, there'll be a particular reason why I'm going back to Palworld. Maybe to just run around, you know, because there's a battle arena thing in the game where you can fight your friends basically. So maybe things like that, maybe building it, treating it like Minecraft, building that kind of stuff. And possibly again reaching people with the gospel, you know, reaching, just telling people about Christ and stuff, just sharing the gospel, the good news, maybe some scriptures, while crafting something or while riding a pal, right? I'd probably treat it like that. And because sometimes that's how you reach people, or people hear about things, or particularly faith as well, right? Because someone looking up Palworld to see what it's about, right? They're not necessarily going to expect someone to be talking about their faith or about Jesus and stuff, but they might click on listen to my video, hear what I'm saying and stuff, and it might spark an interest in them, right? So I think I've been making some sense, right? I'm pretty sure you guys can extract some sense of what I'm trying to say and what I'm trying to put forward here. But yeah, for the rest of the clips, for the rest of the episodes remaining, there probably won't be much talking. It'll just be like raw footage, like raw gameplay. Because yeah, I'm not someone that likes waffling or talking too much. But yeah, again, if you like the video, like, comment, subscribe. Like to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you want to put down your thoughts, especially if they're going to be respectful thoughts. And yeah, that's it. Over and out. Peace.